Hey everyone, happy time zone to wherever you are in the world. Thank you everyone for being so patient with me as I create this video. Today I will be showing you how I restyle this wig, which is the wig that you will see me wearing as Delilah, a character that I play a lot on TikTok from here on out. I made a lot of changes to her and I'm really happy with how she came out. I started filming with her this week and it looks great on camera. She's a lot softer, a lot less stiff. There's more flow to everything, and she's gonna be far more travel friendly. So let's go ahead and get into the video, and I'll take you through what I did to bring this girl back to life. Okay, so first things first, I have to deconstruct the old wig. This was never meant to be something that I wore constantly. I put it together for a D&D game that was meeting once a week, and I just started recording TikToks on the side to make my friends laugh. And Delilah was the first character that I had that took off, and the wig wasn't exactly constructed to be very durable. As you can see here, the bun is sagging and falling apart. The lace is very dirty because there's no real way for me to wash it without taking it apart, and until now I didn't have a second wig that I could swap out or even rebuild this from, because this wig actually went out of stock almost immediately after I bought it. This part here is a bit boring, so let's skip ahead to the good stuff. Once I got the majority of the pins and elastics out, it was time to brush out some of that rat's nest of a bun. This took probably the longest time, and I don't want to do it again for a very long time.
One eternity later.
All right, now that we have that mostly detangled and we can easily pull apart those wefts of hair now, it's time to take this off the wig stand and pull out our new replacement wig. This here is the exact same wig as the original wig, purchased from the same listing. They finally restocked it, so I jumped on the listing and bought this one almost immediately. Here I am wandering around looking for all of my supplies because of course I did not prep anything ahead of time. After I run through the house and find what I need, wasting about 30 minutes of my time, I come back with the bias tape that I needed, and I use this to pin the lace front of the wig in place. Okay. This will help protect the lace. I haven't cut it yet, and I won't cut it until I'm ready to put it on my face. This just gives it a little bit more support while it's on the wig and while I'm pulling on it and styling it. Pin all the way around the lace, down to where the ears are, and do this on both sides. Once I've done that, I do the initial parting of the wig. This first part is where the hair is going to part on my head, and the next ones will be each of the braids going down the side of Delilah's head. These braids need to be fairly uniform, but they can have a little bit of variation. They also need to cross from the lace a little bit onto where the wefts are on the rest of the wig. So I do take my time here parting and combing and clipping everything out of the way so I can start on the bottommost one. Leaving just a little bit of hair to cover the front of my ear, it helps disguise the wig tape that I use a little bit more. I usually leave about an inch of this, or sometimes two, depending on the look I'm going for on a wig, but for the most part there's always at least 1 inch of hair left there. All right, these are just a very basic cornrow braid or on the scalp braid. If you know how to do a Dutch braid, it's very similar. You're just not doing your whole head. You're taking hair from a very specific section, bit by bit, braiding underhanded until you complete the braid. I'll do this for all of the braids, and I'll go to just past the area where the lace meets the wefts on the cap of the wig. This will help hold the braid in place, and it also prevents it from creating a really weird bump in the wig. The first time I made Delilah's wig and I started braiding it, I noticed that if I left the braids just on the lace portion of the wig, they kind of stuck out at an odd angle because there was nothing anchoring them to where the rest of the hair was anchored. So I'll just do that for this first starting one and all the rest. Not gonna lie, doing these braids is the most tedious and time-consuming portion of this wig. But I really like the look of them. I've left them just hanging freely for now, but I think I might pin them back up into the bun next time I wear her and put her back together again, which might be on a beach somewhere. Who knows? All right, now that we have those braids taken out of the way, it's time to try and recreate this braid that I have wrapped in just gold Christmas package thread. I try to go as thrifty as I can, and if you're wondering where I got that gold string from, it definitely came off a Christmas package last year. Here, I'm just moving the wig around, trying to get an idea of where I'm gonna put this braid. The first thing I try is to just fully disassemble the braid and basically just cut and paste it from where it is on the original wig. On the original wig, it sits on the lace and it sits very far forward. However, I didn't want to do this on the new one. I wanted to do as little braiding as possible on the new wig, just so that it was easier to take apart and wash without having to undo the braids or having to undo any of the ornamentation that's in the hair. What I end up doing here, or at least attempting to do, is I remove all of this gold thread here, unbraid the hair, and I try to salvage the hair from the lace itself. It didn't really work out well. The end of the braid was too bulky, and I tried to attach it with magnets, which made it even bulkier. I liked the idea of the ease of using magnets as opposed to hair clips or pins. However, for this particular option, it just was not what I needed. I needed something far more streamlined. So you're gonna see me do a lot of work here, only to later figure out that it does not in fact work out. But that is what cosplay is all about. That's what doing these sorts of builds is all about. It's trying new things, trying new techniques, seeing what works and what doesn't. I will give magnets in a wig a try another time, but for this one, it just was not in the cards. So here's some of my failed attempt footage. Right here, I am still continuing on the path of what will eventually be realized as a failed attempt, but this is something I do with all of my wigs. I never leave these pre-installed clips in. They're never in a good spot for me, and I don't feel like they actually do anything, considering that I either tape down my lace or glue my lace down. And I also normally wear a wig cap under my wig, so there's nothing really for them to grab onto. It's just an extra bit of metal that's pressing into your head. I don't find that I need them. So here I am taking a couple minutes to cut them all out, make sure they're no longer in there to annoy me. And then I will get on sewing what will again eventually be a failed attempt at adding magnets to my wig. All right, now it's time to give Delilah some bangs. In her original wig, she doesn't have bangs. I was actually too scared to cut the wig when I first made it, mostly because at the time I couldn't get a second one. But now that I have attempt number 2 and I've lived with the first iteration of the wig for so long, she definitely needs bangs. Leaving the front section all the same length was very problematic, both for styling and just for wearability. So this will make her look a little softer, have a little more movement in her hair, make the wig look a little bit more lively, and just add some really nice texture and dimension around her face. I'm pulling everything straight forward and then off to the side, opposite of the way that I plan to push it. You see me pushing it in the other direction now. This gives me a nice graduated layering effect that isn't too bulky. Well, it is a little bit bulky, so I do some quick cutting through the ends and just scissoring down the length of it with a pair of thinning shears. And I just do that until I decide that I like what I have. A little bit of point cutting on the side. All right. And she's looking good now. I go in, and this is a technique that I learned from a hairstylist that I worked with for a little while right out of cosmetology school. But I'm basically just holding all of the braids flat and then running my scissors along the side of them parallel, opening and closing to get all of those little flyaways that you have there. You can also gel them down, but over time they will pop back up. And the braids are so tight that they're going to stick in there anyways, so just cutting them down as close to the braid as you can really helps get rid of that frizz. For now, this wig is done, so she can come off the wig head, gently removing all of those pins from around the front. And I did a quick inspection of the old wig. I plan on using all of the hair from that middle section to make the bun and the braids on the new wig. To remove the wefts from the wig, I simply went row by row with a seam ripper, just like you would on any other sewn item, and gently removed the threads that were holding on the wefts. It was a rather time-consuming process, so I did it while watching the latest release season of Rick and Morty, which is why it's not filmed. After I removed all of the wefts that I wanted to use and I had enough hair to create the bun, I started sewing the wefts to one another. This will make it easier to fold them in on themselves and basically create a puck of hair for the bun. That would be the base, which would sit on top of the first wig and also would be what the clips would be sewn into for the bun. Next, there was nothing left to do but sit for 4 to 5 hours straight sewing wefts together. And unfortunately, I didn't realize that my camera battery had died. So RIP all of the footage that we will not get to see of me creating the puck for the bun. I don't want to talk about it. I don't. All right, and a quick jump cut later and we are back. And I also had a costume change. It is a month later when I'm filming this portion. Life just got hectic, and since I have a job and friends and family that I need to take care of and spend time with, I just didn't have the time to work with her. But that is the plight of a cosplayer. Maybe one day this will be a full-time job for me creating things for you all, but for now, it's secondary to everything else that goes on in my life. All right, so first off, we are going to start parting hair and create a little ponytail at the top. This is where the clip is going to anchor into the wig. Here I am just turning it so the camera can see a little better. Good job, Sarah. Good job. Touch the hair. This wig coming apart in 2 parts leaving the base wig fully intact was really important to me. I want to be able to film content with Delilah maybe wearing hats at some point, or maybe doing something that's a more casual, she just woke up sort of video where she wouldn't necessarily have done her hair yet for the day and might just have a braid or two in the hair, but not that full bun that sits on the top of her hair. This allows me to do that without having to have multiple wigs. It also makes her far more travel friendly. I can take the bun down, brush it out gently, and she stores flat, and so she's ready to go to a convention, or in the case of where I'm taking her first, she's ready to go to the beach. All right, once I get that all squared away, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the ponytail that I created. I made sure that this was really, really flat when I sewed it all down, and that clip there is sewn very securely. So once this clips into the hair after I'm done fiddling with my camera, it's going to stay pretty flat and also provide me with a really good base for this bun. There, I'm just clipping it in, making sure it's secure. And once it's on there, it's ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and take the second braid I made. I took a couple of the extra wefts and sewed them onto a similar clip. It just clips in underneath the bun to hide the clip, and then it's all ready to go. Hold on to your hats, kids. It's time for the fun to start. All right, so now we get into the actual styling of the bun and applying all the decoration to the rest of her hair. This is definitely my favorite part of the whole process because it means I'm almost done. All I do here is I pull the hair straight up and brush it down a few times to build up some volume in it. Then I will go and gently smooth over the outside, being careful not to yank it off of the top of the head, because that is still possible at this point. Once that's done, I will just twist the bun around itself, pin in place, and it's ready to start being decorated. These beads I got at the local craft store. I just have them stringed on a piece of fishing wire that's tied to 2 bobby pins at the end. Really easy to take on and off. Next up is the butterfly pin, which is a rather iconic part of her whole costume now. I think I got it at Walmart for like 50 cents. And then from there, I just start pinning in things using bobby pins and fishing line. Some hang from the bun area. Others will get strung onto the various braids. For now, I don't have the braids on the side that are braided down to the scalp pulled back. I might change that. That's how I had it on the previous wig, and I really did enjoy the look of it, but I wanted to leave them down for a little bit, see if they have a little more presence in her videos. I'll either leave them up or down, depending on how I feel. Now I am putting that gold thread through the braid on the side. I have this on there just temporarily for this first test run. I'm not sure that this is where I'm leaving the braid. I'm also debating whether or not I want to leave that gold thread on there. So if you have some suggestions of what I should do with this movable braid next for her, leave them down below in the comments. I'm always happy to listen to y'all's suggestions. I love talking with other cosplayers about the craft and about thrifty ideas to improve my cosplays. Here, I'm just using a really chunky plastic yarn needle to thread it through, but you can totally do this with just your fingers. You don't necessarily need the needle. I just found it easier and I had it readily on hand. Once I'm done with this, I just loop it around a few times, slide the needle through those loops to secure it, and then weave the end down through the bottom of the braid so that I can preserve the rest of the length of this thread. Here I'm taking the elastic off of the braid and using a bobby pin to thread beads onto the braids. I'm also looking for different beads to thread onto her, maybe something a little more sparkly. I'm not sure. I think she needs a little more glitter. I always think my characters need more glitter. If you don't have a bobby pin handy for you to thread your hair through these little beads, You can also accomplish the same thing by getting some really strong hold hair gel and basically turning the end of the braid into its own needle. Just make sure that you have enough hair that it easily fits through the bottom of your beads. And then, of course, once you're done, you can always wash the hair gel out of just the bottom of the braid. Easy peasy. Right, and she is done. Time to go try her on. I have no idea what I was saying here.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Okay, so obviously I lost all of the audio in this session. I don't know how. It was really cute. I had a great time getting dressed up as Delilah and talking about her. But the computer ate my audio. But, well, I mean, it didn't eat my audio. It's more likely that I just didn't realize I was muted. So, RIP that clip. But anyways, let's just pop on over to an outro instead. Hi. Like I said in the video, Delilah was never supposed to be something that I wore constantly, and she very much needed this rebuild. So thank you everyone for hanging out with me today and watching this poorly edited video. One day I will be able to afford an editor, but today was not that day. But we still got it done, and you know, we learned a few things. Mostly that Adobe products are the devil. But anyways, that's gonna be it for me. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Do all the things that you do on YouTube, and I'll see you in the next one.